to, let's say, 5, then what must happen? I would prefer also a camera. Sorry. All right. So when I is less than 5, we said this is, we can see out maybe I and line maybe, then this is going to allow us. So it's going to print. All right. So we said logani out on the phone, ne? We said if, okay, no problem. Then it's going to be I plus plus. Then this I plus plus, you know what is the mean of get is an increment. Then if we build our code and run it, it's going to print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we are going to take it further. So you know about how to do the program, how to print the even numbers, how to print the odd numbers using a while loop. So we're going to take it further. What if you are working on a school or at university? So at university, there are many students. You find that a lecture, he or she have to write a program. We have to write a program that a lecture is going to be entering the results of their students. For it can be maybe programming, the one module that we're doing now. So in order for us to do that code, we can maybe, for example, let's first see out to ask a lecture, say enter the results, enter results of your students. Then we're gonna see in the results. Let's say result is fine. Let's just use word results. Then when we see in those results, we know that is going to be an integer. We're gonna say int results. So in our int results, what will happen now? A lecturer is gonna print it's gonna print so many numbers. You might find that in one class there are 300 and something students. Normally at university level, in one class you might find that is composed, the minimum is at least 200. Unless others, if the course that they are doing is hard, then that's when you can find at least 100 students in one class, if the module is very hard. So if it's not hard, there are many students. So we're going to use a while loop. We're going to use a while loop. We're going to say while the results, for example, we know that the results is not what is cannot be 0, or we can tell the lecture that when you exit, see out, we can tell the lecturer that when it's done entering those results, please enter -1. Enter -1 to exit. We want to enter what a lecture to enter -1 to exit the code. Enter -1 to exit the program, we can't say the code because the lecture that we are writing for, we might not be knowing what is the code. So we're going to use that when we're going to say in our results there, when the results is not equal to, this sign means not equals to, it's not equals to -1. What must happen? We need it to keep entering to see in those results. It must never stop unless otherwise if the lecturer enters what? The lecturer enters -1. So this is how it's going to work. So let me interpret again the question, the program, or the code. We have int results for declaration. This is for our declaration and initializing Then we ask a user. When we ask a user, to enter results of your students. Enter results of your students. It's going to enter the results of the student. We even ask a lecturer to say enter -1 to exit. Here we have to say exit the code, to exit the program. So after that we have a cin to capture those results. So this one is only going to capture once. So after that one is going to capture once, we can even delete it. It's not really necessary. So we have a while loop. Here our while loop, the condition says while results is not equal to -1, what must happen? What must happen is that it must keep capturing those results. It must keep capturing as long as the lecturer didn't enter -1, then the code must keep capturing those results. So let's build our code and let's compile our code and run it. So when we run it, you will see that I can enter 55. Let's say the first person got 55%, the other one got 60, the other one got 20%, the other one got 1%. It's happened at university, there are people who got 1%, and then the other one got 23%, the other one got 70, 9%, the other one get 100. There are those who get 100 at university. The other one got 98, the other one got 77. Then maybe these are students for that class. Then the lecture is done, it prints -1. Then it stopped the program. You see how it works when we're dealing with this program. Hello?
Yeah.
Do you have any question based on the code? Let me open the code. This is the code. Any question based on this code?
Oh, no question.
Can you do this kind of question?
Like,
No, I mean like if you have to program something like that, will you remember how to do it?
I can try, guys.
All right, no problem. So I asked here, we asked the user to say enter -1. Sometimes we can decide to say, if like you can write a program in such a way, the same way, like this way, and we decide that, okay, if a user enter negative, a number less than 0, because we know that the results, it's not only about based on the results, you can be using this same method, maybe on a program whereby it's working with a score. It's maybe a soccer, you have to record the scores of the soccer. Just give me 1 minute. It's necessary. It means that you don't need it. But now, don't ISO. Then what we're going to do, there is no only need. We might want to know the average. Might want to calculate the average. We might to calculate also the maybe total number. Let's say total sum first. Total sum. Then after that, we might want to know how many students. How many students? How many students in that class. We might also want to know the average. The average is only going to help us to know if the performance of the performance of that class. So let's do it now. So in order for you to calculate the average, the total sum, in your declaration here, we can still declare with an integer int. We can say sum, but we must initialize it to 0, to 0, and then we're gonna also int. We used I there. Okay, we can use I. We can initialize it to 0 too. So for this one, the first one for sum is going to calculate the total sum, and the second one int I equals 0 is going to work. It's going to work with the int I equals 0. It's going to work with what? It's going to work with 0. It's going to calculate the number of the students. So how do we do it? We have these results here. So you will see something. If a user is going to allow, if a user enter -1, it won't allow, if a user enter -1, it won't allow this results to be entered. It will stop. So everything, we must write it before the cin, because if we write it after the cin, it means that our code will be wrong. It will also include -1. It's like it's going to take -1 as a student. So we must write everything before. So which means we can say sum plus equals, that's what you remember. This is increment, but what we're incrementing, we are going to be adding the results. We're going to write results. So when we write results, we're going to say I++. I++ is just increment by 1 to add in. The moment when a lecture enter the results, is going to be adding 1, 2, 3 until you enter -1, then the program stops. So how can we show that we have calculated that? We can tell that you have Cout. We can say there are and then we can also have another Cout, and then there are students. This one is going to, if there are 20 students, we'll say there are 20 students, and then we can say total sum. Let's say put semicolon. Then for total sum, we're gonna say sum here. Let's just have also an end line. And then for the average, remember it's a mean. So if a question say you must find a mean and average, or you must average and mean, you calculate, when you calculate it, you use average equals to total number divided by total sum divided by total number. That's the average, the way you did it in high school. Then we're gonna say average. For average, we know that we can say sum, we divide it by I. So it's gonna give us that average. Let's put also an end line. So this code of ours is gonna allow a lecturer to enter the results.
Sorry. Oh, less po pangajay 3.
Less.
Average.
Yes. Sorry. I made a mistake. So thank you. So let's proceed. Then we're gonna compile our code and we're gonna run it. When we write it, let's assume the first one got that result, then second one, and then that. I'm not gonna enter, I will enter -1. I won't gonna enter many of them. You will see that, okay, the problem part is fine. We just did not put a end line. There are 6 students. You see that is 1. We check how many results are there. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's calculating what number the last is calculating this one, there's -1. Okay, no, it's not calculating the -1. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There is a space that I made there, so I'm not sure if it's counting. Let's just repeat. Let's just run this code again properly. Let's say it's 55, 70, 80, 98, 32, and press -1. So now it's saying there are what, 7 students. Let's calculate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's calculating also -1. So we must first solve that problem. So here we can put /n and for end line. You know what is /n is 2, so that this total sum can also be in its own line. So let's check what is wrong with this code. So the program is going to come is results -1, while the results is not -1, it's going to, you see. So it's just gonna ignore. So that statement which we put first here as a C in, it's very important. We're gonna have to put it back. It's very important for now. So this scene is gonna capture the results. Then it's check, is this true? Then when it's find that is true, it's gonna add that result, it's gonna increment, then it's gonna allow another result to be entered. Then it checks if this is not true, it won't enter in. Then our code is gonna be perfect now. So let's build a code and let's run it. So enter the results of your students. Okay. And secondly, I would love this to be in its own line. I will put /n for end line there. Let's build our code and run it. So now you can see enter the results, enter your student results, enter -1 to exit. So I will also take out this. So when I write, I will also put, I'm supposed to put /n here because I want this line, enter -1 to exit the program. I want it to be on its own line. So let's build it and let's run it. So you can see enter results of your students. Enter -1 to exit the program. You see, so I'm gonna write 55, 66, 33, 44, 90, 100, then 50, then -1 to exit the program. So you will see now that we have how many students? There are 7 students. Let's count. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You see, it's no longer counting. It's no longer counting -1. And then total sum is 438. If you calculate within your calculator all this sum, you can take a screenshot to verify that later. If you calculate, you will see that you have the total sum of 438. And the average, which means average is going to take this and it divide by 7. You will see that rounded off as an integer. Integer, it only work after the comma, it ignores the numbers. So if you're given decimal number, you will see that you have 162 point something, but because we are working with an integer, it's just gonna be like this way. So do you have any question based on what we are doing now?
That's not a question.
Do you understand this, what we are doing?
And go spaces.
Because first,
It's
okay.
too long.
The program, yeah, this is how it's going to be working. That's why I said relax. This is nothing. We haven't started. This is just the beginning. We are just trying to. We are still on introduction of programming here. So Mara is very simple. Can you see that? Just that you have to be coding too much. So let's go.